reported last night that Arsenal are ready to enter the race to sign the Crystal Palace defender, Marc Guehi. Our understanding is that he is a player that they have held a long-term interest in as well.
Yeah, that Marc Guehi. Crystal Palace captain, England starter, FA Cup winner. On paper, this link sounds completely backwards, because Arsenal already have a defensive unit that's basically a luxury car showroom. Saliba, Gabriel, Calafiori, Timber, Hincapi, Mosquera, White, Lewis Kelly. Depth for days. So why are Arsenal even sniffing around Guehi? And here's the spicier part. The reports aren't just saying Arsenal like him. The vibe right now is Guehi might like Arsenal back. And if that's true, this move could quietly change Arsenal's defensive future in a way that people are not ready for. But before we go to the why, the who potentially leaves, and the one moment at the Emirates that made fans go full conspiracy theory, let's see the scene properly. Because this story is not just about Arsenal wanting another defender. It's about timing. It's about power. It's about a player who almost joined Liverpool and could now trigger a January domino effect involving City, Liverpool, and Arsenal all at once. Marc Guehi's rise has been sneaky. No superstar PR machine, no endless highlight reels, just consistent high-level defending in a team that spends large chunks of matches without the ball. And that's why top clubs love him. Because if you can look calm at center back for Crystal Palace, with transitions flying at your face, with one mistake turning into a goal, you can probably handle anything. He's also not just a defender. He's Palace's captain, a leader in a dressing room where big personalities come and go. And yes, he's already got a major trophy on his CV at Palace. That 2025 FA Cup win wasn't just a nice day out at Wembley. It changed how people looked at Palace, and at the players who carried them there. Now here's a stat nugget that matters. On the Premier League's own numbers this season, Guehi's putting up defensive volume, 30 tackles, 25 interceptions, 10 blocks. That's not pretty build-up stats. That's get your head on it, win your duels, stop the fire, defending. So the question becomes, if he's this good, why is everybody suddenly acting like he's available? Because Liverpool almost had him. This is the bit people forget. Last summer wasn't just rumors, it got real. Sky Sports reported Liverpool's interest turned into a full-on late window push, with a fee in the region of £35 million being the line they wouldn't cross. Because Guehi's contract situation meant he could be cheaper or even free later. And then, it collapsed. Not because Guehi didn't want it, or that Liverpool changed their mind. The big issue, Palace couldn't sort a replacement in time, and the plug got pulled. Imagine being a player, thinking you're about to step into a title-challenging squad, and then, last minute you're told, actually, no, back to training on Monday. That kind of thing leaves a mark. And it also does something else. It tells the entire football world, this guy is gettable. Which leads us to the next predator circling. Manchester City has been linked with accelerating their plans and trying to get Guehi now, not later. Why? Because they're struggling with defensive injuries to Ruben Diaz, Josko Gvardiol, and John Stones. And when City feels vulnerable, they don't cope, they go shopping. Sky Sports reported City are weighing up making their move early amid defensive injury issues. And Palace are thought to want a fee of around £40 million, even with the contract expiring soon. And Palace boss Oliver Glasner hasn't done the usual manager thing of screaming, "Not for sale!" into the void. He's basically said, if a massive offer comes and the player wants it, it can happen. There's a threshold. So City are hovering. And then, plot twist, Liverpool might be dragged back into it this January because of one injury, Connor Bradley. He goes off injured against Arsenal, and suddenly, Liverpool's squad depth questions start screaming again. So now you've got this January tension. City can pay now. Liverpool might panic now. Palace might resist, unless the number is crazy. And right in the middle of this mess, Arsenal walks in. Arsenal being linked to Marc Guehi is the kind of rumor that makes you do the head tilt. Because the first reaction is, wait, why? Arsenal's center-back partnership is one of the best in Europe. Saliba and Gabriel are basically Arteta's emotional support blankets. And Gabriel and Saliba literally just signed long-term deals that run to 2029 and 2030 respectively. So, what are we talking about here? Are Arsenal hoarding defenders like it's FIFA career mode? Or is there a deeper plan? Because here's the thing about elite teams. They don't wait for a problem to explode. They buy before it becomes a crisis. Arsenal learned this the hard way last season. Arsenal's defense, as strong as it was, has been tested this season with injuries to Saliba, Gabriel, Calafiori, Masquera, and now Hincampi. It also has pressure points. Ben White and Timber's contracts run until 2028, already drifting into the decision zone, the period where clubs don't wait for contracts to run down, but start asking a different question. Renew or prepare to sell? Football contracts don't end when contracts expire. They end when a player feels ready for a new challenge, somebody offers ridiculous money, or a club decides it's time to cash in at peak value. And this is where it gets controversial. What if Arsenal are quietly prepping for a future where a locked-in star isn't so locked in? What if, say, Arsenal win the league, hypothetically, and someone like Saliba thinks, I've done it here, now what? Maybe Madrid. He'd sure have a long list of suitors. I'm not saying it's likely. I'm saying elite clubs plan for the unlikely. And there's another angle. Arteta loves versatility. He loves being able to flip shapes mid-game. He loves defenders who can defend wide spaces because Arsenal play high. Guehi fits that profile. But there's one moment that made this rumor go from, okay, sure, to, hold on. What? Carabao Cup, quarterfinal, Emirates Stadium, December 23rd, 2025. Arsenal are heading through with a 1-0 win. And then Marc Guehi pops up with a 95th minute equalizer to drag the game to penalties. Big moment, right? Captain, last gasp goal, cup quarterfinal. So what does he do? He doesn't really celebrate. And Arsenal fans noticed. Then after the game, and Arsenal go through on penalties, supporters spot Guehi chatting with Mikel Arteta, and also with Bukayo Saka, and Noni Madueke. And that's when the internet did its thing. Why isn't he celebrating? Why is he smiling with Arsenal players? Is he one of us? Now, let's be fair. Footballers talk after games. It happens. But football fans don't run on fairness. They run on vibes. And the vibes scream, this guy likes Arsenal. Secret Arsenal fan? Or just a London lad that's chatting with England teammates? Either way, it poured petrol on the rumor. And now, with reports saying Arsenal have joined the race, that December night looks different. Here's where the Arsenal fanbase split right down the middle. One side is like, why are we buying another defender? We need a left winger. We need someone like Rodrigo, the X Factor. We need goals from wide. And honestly, that argument makes sense. Because when you're chasing the biggest honors, you don't just need to control games. You need to finish them. But the other side? They see Guehi links and they go, this is what champions do. This is ruthless. This is depth that wins trophies. Because look at the team that dominates over multiple competitions. They rotate without dropping level. They get injuries and just keep walking. So which side is right? Maybe both? Or maybe the answer is, it depends on the deal. Because the biggest detail in this entire story is the calendar. Most reporting about Guehi has pointed in one direction. January is complicated. Summer is clearer. With his contract set to expire at the end of the season, he's free to talk pre-contracts with foreign clubs. Palace can still sell in January, but only if the offer hits the Glasner's threshold, and the club decides cash now is better than losing him later. Let's be honest, Arsenal are unlikely to make a bid for him this January. If anything, their focus will be on the summer. And there's another factor that matters for Guehi personally. It's a World Cup year. 2026 is the year you do not want to disappear from the pitch, or make a move that can harm your performance or risk that comes with every transfer. And Sky has already framed his decision through that lens. Minutes matter. Rhythm matters. Staying sharp matters. So staying at Palace through January, playing every week, captaining the side, that might be the smartest thing for him. Unless a giant club offers him a role he can't refuse. Which brings us to the football question. Forget the gossip for a second. How does Guehi actually make Arsenal better? Arsenal defend high. They squeeze space. They trap teams. When it goes wrong fast. So your center back needs two things. One, they need to be brave in open spaces. And two, they need to be clean on the ball under pressure. Guéhi's best trait might be how unpanicked he looks. He's not the guy flying into tackles because he got bored. He's the guy reading the play, stepping in early, cleaning it up. And with Arsenal, his role could be terrifying for opponents because he wouldn't just be backup. He could be a rotation that keeps Saliba and Gabriel fresh. Or the plan for the future, in case Arsenal plans to sell any of their defenders who are currently at their peak, he could also be the third center back in games where Arsenal want to lock down a lead. And here's the uncomfortable bit for Arsenal fans. If you bring in a player of Guéhi's level, you create competition. Competition is healthy, but it also creates consequence, because someone always becomes the odd one out. So, is Arsenal buying Guéhi for rotation or replacement? He's Premier League proven. He's captained Palace to major silverware. If you're Arsenal, and you can get Marc Guéhi this summer, do you do it even if it means one of your current defenders eventually has to be sacrificed? And if you're Guéhi, do you pick the safe minutes at Palace this January in a World Cup year, or do you bet on yourself at a title-chasing Man City or a Liverpool side fighting for top 4, knowing it could swing either way and affect your World Cup chances? Drop your answers in the comments.